far as it goes for underground interviews, it doesn't get much more bigger than this. It is our very own Kid Crusher on the underground. KC, man, I was just thinking you'd have to be my all-time the person that's been on our guest list the most right here on the underground. How you
And
going, man?
since and since day one, buddy. Yeah, hell yeah, underground. Glad to see you going. Still kicking strong, man. And you guys have been uphill, and then like just mad props for that. Love you, dude. And yeah, I'm doing amazing. How about you?
Yeah, really good. Thank you, man. Well, definitely since day one, you were on our first ever show back in 2010, I think it was, or 2011, somewhere back then. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, you keep coming back, and I can't thank you enough from that. And like you said too, thank you for the props to us, but props to you, man. You've just gone from strength to strength. 20 years strong, I believe now.
Yeah. It's really weird to say it out loud, and it's like, wow. It doesn't feel that long, but at the same time, I'm starting to feel it. When all these fans hit me up, like, been listening to you since high school, and now I'm like married and have kids, and I've been working, and it's like, oh my god, stop.
That's me right there, man. That's
Yeah.
exactly me right there. I was talking to you a little bit through Facebook though, KC, and I think you're a very inspirational sort of dude, especially from where we are in Australia, because it's a little bit different to the States. But you said to me, man, you can achieve anything if you put your mind to it. How crazy is it to see how far that you have come? Like from here in Australia, like our avenues are not like we don't have much. It's sort of hard to explain to the American people. It's nowhere near the same scene as what it is in the States.
Oh, absolutely not. And that's a good quote. That's straight from Marty McFly. If you didn't catch that one, put your mind to accomplish anything. It's just positivity, dude. Like ever since I was a little kid, like I just love being behind a computer. Like that's the weirdest thing about it is like I never seen this outside my computer room. It's my personal space. Just I'm making music. It's just easy for me. I sit down on a computer and make beats, blast stuff, and yeah, like coming outside of the studio, I was nervous because I was just like, I love making stuff at home and yeah, it blew up from there. But anyway, yeah, positivity, man. That's that really gets you anywhere. And that's just my job. I just love being creative. Always have like just on a computer, like out doing wrestling in the past, like anything. I just always wanted to be hands on and freaking go. Like I ain't gonna talk about it. I don't do it. That's why I disappear for years at a time. So I'm making stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm glad.
it's crazy that Australia is a little behind, not as big, especially in the underground scene. Unless like big underground acts come down here, which they do more now than before, which is good. But yeah, it's pretty quiet, like crickets, until like the big waves come, and I'm like right behind there, just backing those aftershocks up.
That's exactly right, man. Because seriously, like, is there many more apart from yourself in the underground scene? Like, I've been running the underground for like the 12 years, whatever it is now, 13.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much, you think Australia, you think Kid Crusher, you think Trips back in the day, the urban legend of Sin, Trips back on the new Metal Murder mixtape, which is awesome to see. But who else is sort of out there, man? It's you sort of running the ship.
I didn't like to have that big head of saying like I'm running stuff. If anyone gives me a title, I appreciate it. And I'm humbled by that, and I appreciate it. But it's nothing I'm claiming. I'm not trying to dethrone anyone. I never had been. I'm not trying to diss nobody, all that type of shit. Now I think there is a great range of underground artists there, but sadly they probably are not getting as much light as they could, especially in Australia. I'm seeing them pop up all the time, especially Instagram. They help boost like videos and stuff, which is great. I'm discovering a
Oh,
lot of not saying so much rap, but bits and pieces, more metal. I'm more of a metalhead anyway, but I have stumbled across some rappers, but this I couldn't give you one off the top of my head though, man. That's I just wish I could right now, just to shout out someone who's doing good, but off the top of my head, I can't. I'm sorry.
yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, man. And I've lived and breathed it for forever. And you just think you instantly. And I was saying to you just before we started this interview, Casey, we are very much cut from the same cloth. Like you're a metalhead, but you
Yeah.
rap. It's sort of my two things. So obviously you dig your collecting and whatnot. You got some crazy stuff there around you in the lab. I like that, man. But a musician, you got KC, you've got Rectal Birth, which is your industrial band, Backyard Wrestler as well. What's sort of your favorite thing to do, man?
Oh, like outside of being creative?
No, like out of those things, like is it Kid Crusher? Is it Rectal Birth? Is it the wrestling? What's your sort of claim to fame?
See, the thing is, like, I don't like doing the same thing twice. So, like, I take my breaks from Kidcrusher. That's why, like, I like to like when I get to Rectal Birth and Caveman, it's so much more fun because yeah, it's brand new, and like when it's Kidcrusher, it's the same story, and it's a little bit more pressure. And when it's like, like I've been doing, like you say, 20 years. How do I make a song about killing someone so many times? It's not. It becomes a little bit more stressful every time I do it. I'm like, oh no. So that's why I'm outside the box with this album, especially. But yeah, no, I can't say there's a favorite for any of them. It's just more like I have fun equally with all of them. It's just sometimes I feel too stressed. So I like to go, well, I'll do this for a little bit, like Caveman, so much fun. I hate how underrated that band is. Like, it's such a brilliant idea. I think like I came up with that idea before Key Crusher too. So that one's ancient as it's not as active. Same with Rectal Birth. That one's even more ancient. But again, it was like not really evolved into a proper thing until now. But again, my favorite thing isn't music. Music's like my second love. Movies is my first love. Like,
I
honestly, like it really is. And like music evolved. My love for music evolved from movie soundtracks, obviously.
Yeah, that's so great, man. And we may as well talk about it a little bit now. What sort of music soundtracks you're talking? The ones that come to mind for me are like, back in the day, you had like the Spawn soundtrack, like that was awesome. Freddy versus Jason. What sort of music soundtracks sort of inspire you?
Yeah, tie-in soundtracks for sure. And they don't do that like anymore. It's mainly scores now. I don't know why they don't do it anymore. It really pisses me off. Like I mean, some movies do it, but yeah, Spawn's a big high one there. I love the Lost Boys soundtrack.
Yes.
Freaking Faculty, Tales from the Hood obviously was a great soundtrack that inspired me to become a horror rapper. Fuck, off the top of my head, I'll hate myself for this later, not bringing them up, but I could give you a long list. Shit, Matrix was a good one.
Yes.
Yeah, off the top of my head, nah, nothing's there.
Off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking as well, man. Very much cut from the same cloth. We'll talk more about Blockbuster Bloke and movies a little bit later on, man. But back onto the Rectal Birth side of things, 30 years of industrial strength compilation. How much does that mean to you to land on that?
I, I'm I'm speechless for that. Like, I didn't feel worthy. Like Wayne's like, I'm not worthy. I only just started. It's like I only just got here. But like I've been working with those guys for a long time. Not as Rectal Birth anyway. Like the XBA Backyard Wrestling DVD, they did the soundtrack for that, and
Okay.
I pitched them the Nothing back in day, the 2012 record. But for some reason, it just didn't. I don't know what happened. I can't even remember why. I ended up just putting it out myself. But even the nasty, that was a really quick pitch. I was blown away. Like, I made that album, the EP. Well, actually, the nasty song on my lunch break at work. I was just messing around, and I was just like, I pitched it. I was like, no, I'm gonna pitch it to him. I just listened to it. I was like, this is actually amazing, and pitched it to him. They're like, we want an EP. And I'm like, oh shit, really? Yeah. So yeah, the 30 years thing, I did not expect that either. And like some of my biggest inspiration for Rectobirth, the Berserkers on there as well. And I love the Berserkers so much. So I'm completely humbled to be on there.
Oh man, yeah, it is crazy. It's like you're saying, like I was saying before, you can do anything when you put your mind to it. Your Marty McFly sort of quote there, but also like ICP said, you've done it alone, man. There hasn't been much help for you, KC, and that's the thing. Like you're talking about people being underground and whatever. I wanted to know, man, have you ever got any love outside of us from the Australian media?
No, not really. And it's really hard too because they quick to label me, oh, Juggalo rapper, like that's a lot. Most hated band in the world. I suffer from that as well, and I'm not going to argue with it. It in my I'm going to drop it. I feel like it's a racist term, even though it's not a skin color. It's a culture. Oh, he's Juggalo, fuck him. I get that everywhere, even doing gigs as well. It's really fucking hard to fit in anywhere. Like with the metal, you either got your metal heads, this is metal, or you rap, this is rap. You got those that are in the middle, like rap and metal. They dig them. That's where I fit. It's kind of
Yeah.
hard, even. But then still, there's one. I don't like Juggalo, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry.
Well, well, check this out, man. I was going to say this to you, and this might not mean much to people listening outside of Australia, but to Australians, you've got bands that I grew up on. Regurgitator, 34,000 Facebook likes. Frunzel Rom, 67,000 Facebook likes. Grinspoon, 93,000 Facebook likes. They're all legit. They're all very, very big bands in our country. And all the like I love those bands. Openly love those bands. But there you are, Kidcrusher, 127,000K. Like you are up there and more than these guys, yet get shown no love. It is unbelievable to me.
It could be the lack of management, like you say. I am all myself. Not a lot of people understand that. And Susu fans like, why aren't you touring the world and doing all this stuff? It's just me here on my computer. Guess what? I'm literally how I got any further than outside that door is blowing my mind. Like I would love management. I would love people to approach press for me because I've done little, but like I've done little, which I know I can, which is within the underground, and people appreciate, unsigned independent artists. And when I think of Airheads comes to mind. I don't touch unsolicited material. I got to take over a radio station or some shit. I'm the Lone Rangers. That makes sense.
Oh, I
I
love
don't
it.
know.
Right. Yeah, I don't know either, man. It just baffles me. It blows my mind. I wanted to get a little bit deeper with you on this interview, Casey, because like I was saying before we started, you deserve your props, man. You've done big things in Australia, and there's not too many people in the media flying your flag, except for us. We've shown you love since day one. But man, my wife often says to me, Casey, I believe you were born in the wrong country. And I love Australia, man. I really do love a lot of the things we have, but it's very much the same with you too. Because I believe if you were over there in the States, you'd be signed to one of these bigger, your M&Es, your psychopathics, your strange music, something like that, and the career would be much bigger. Is that something that you sort of think is true, or are you just loving it where you are now, doing it independently?
I never know. You never know what could have happened if I made it over there, and I would eat myself alive if I kept thinking about it, and I do sometimes. I get really fucking depressed about it, but I just try not to think about it. At the same time, I'm fucking humbled to where I have been and what I've done. I'm
Yeah,
freaking amazed. Like, if it ended tomorrow, I'd still be fucking happy with where my career went. I've worked with my favorite artists. A lot of my favorite artists follow me on Twitter, and I still every now look and go, holy fuck, still they're still following me.
that's
I'm fucking like, wow, why are you following me? Like I've got to a milestone that I'm comfortable and happy with. Anything more than that, is being greedy, in my opinion. I would do it, if I could. Like I'm all for it. Getting bigger and doing more things and still touring America if I could, getting on labels, doing management. I want that, but I'm not gonna be like screaming like I ain't gonna do this and I'm not getting that. I'm having fun. I'm literally having fun. If you're not having fun making music, what are you doing? Yeah, most people that I get it. It is a business. It is too, and I do treat it as that as well. And but you know, um, I got to deal with what I got, and I still made music for a good 5, 6, maybe even 7 years. I couldn't calculate completely before I started Kidcrusher, and I was my own fucking fan. That was it. Just one person. I'd burn CDs of my music, put it on, listen to it at home. Like back then, I'd blaze and listen to it, and I'm like, holy shit, that's me. Yeah, I'm still do that. I still listen to my beats. I'm like, fuck yeah, play it in the car. Oh yeah, like I'm just doing it to entertain me, and also I cater to everyone else now as well, and that's a privilege. That's a bonus for me, and I really freaking appreciate it. And I didn't see it come. Didn't see it come. Absolutely not. Still, like I did not. Not at all.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that a little bit later on, actually, man. Did you have any idea, like 20 years down, that you'd be as far as what you are? You're saying no, not at all. Like, man, like I just saw the Tunnel Runners tats just sort of flash up there. Like, that was amazing for you right there, man. Like, done amazing things and done it on your own, which is fantastic right there. You were talking about touring a little bit, and it's all go for America if the right people approach you now, right? There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah, see what is like, they gave me a 5-year ban and I had to organize a visa. I did that, but it's like the visa people are like, I need dates booked, I need this. I need management. Like the reason why we started getting progression was because I had a manager very briefly from Fago Lovers, but he like kind of retired, not because of me, he just like retired from the underground music industry altogether. And he's reached out and he apologized for it. We got heaps far, but I am, a complicated what do you call it, customer or employee. It's a bunch of paperwork that I don't think he was ready for. I'm not ready for it. I didn't That's why I got kicked out the first time. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was like, I think 18 or 19 when I went over to America. You know, I'm 30 something now, so it's a long time ago, and I fucked up. That's me. I'm not a manager. You know, I am very good at, you know, putting music together, promoting music, and doing gigs, and motivating myself and getting shit done. You know, put your mind to it, all that. But management, I don't know the fuck I'm doing. Booking shows, I can kind of do, but you know, I come to you.
That's exactly right, man. So if the right people are listening, man, get KC over there. He's ready to go. He just needs a bit of management behind him. But man, the reason I've got you on the show today is to talk about the Metal Murder Mixtape 4, man. I wanted to talk to you about this. It is nothing short of amazing. Back to that being cut from the same cloth again. You're mixing metal, you're mixing rap. It is just an album that I feel was made for me. Let's talk about it from day one. How do you sort of approach doing a project like this?
Every album has been the same for me the last few years. It's like pieces left over from another album that shifted over into an untitled folder. And like when I was working at Distorted Dimension, it was like an untitled folder. And it's like mainly the second half of Metal Murder 4K is what it originally was at the start of the album. And it kind of just got pushed because those songs are older and I wasn't sure if I wanted to use them anymore. And it originally had a different title too. I still used to stay on my studio computer anyway. I'm using Windows 7. For some reason, I got attachment to it. All my old programs are on there. So like I got to wait like 10 minutes for it to turn on. That's just my studio. I got other shit, Apple stuff I prefer, but I jump way back retro for that. Anyway, Windows Media Player. I don't know why. I love using it to prepare my albums. I put the album artwork up there, title it, and I just throw in my beats and I put them in position and give them working titles. And I start moving around and blah blah blah. This album, though, a little bit different. It's kind of funny. I've been waiting to share the story. I've been driving a lot lately, just driving. So like I put the beats on my phone and I've been like writing most of that album while I'm just driving. I'm like just sitting there driving. I'm thinking, yeah, I just start screaming in the car. I'm like, that would work. That would work. So I'm like, then I get home and I quickly write it down. I was like, I've never written an album by driving a car. Most of that album, look, the choruses anyway, the hooks, some of the verse, mainly just the hooks for MM4K was written while I was driving a car. I was paying attention to the road rules. Well, don't be fucking. Don't be like my, yeah. That's basically it. And then yeah, obviously I sit down, I attack like one track at a time. Some tracks, you know, I leave to very last minute procrastination because the beats are amazing, you know, or something, and I'm like, I know it's gonna be a lot of headspace again. That motherfucker. Tracks like In Your Nightmares, you know, that track I spent like a week on it. And that's more different than another progression from when I was first started. Some tracks, you know, back in the day are very rushed. You know, when I first started, those tracks I would have you know, written, recorded, and that's it. That one day, that's that song, it's done. I couldn't tell you which song. A lot of Cannibal Clown maybe, and before that, this is before, you know, like obviously I worked on Tunnel Runners and everyone started watching me more. I started like, oh shit, I got to really slow down. So that's the more pressure, more perfectionist I became, and especially the last couple of years, I really started kicking my head. Even during Metal Murder 3D, I put it down to I was really obsessed with trying to be the most powerful production, like to get the quality up. Because fans would always say to me, "No, your song blew my speakers, but in a nice way." It's like, "Oh, I blew it, and I'm cool." And I'm like, "No, man, I feel bad. I didn't mix it right. You know, I probably I did a bass boost a lot of the old shit. I listen to it now. It's bad to crank it past 20." I'm like, oh no, no, no! I want to pay for your sound system. So like, I just got obsessed with, especially metal, making guitars sound amazing, making Metal Murder 3D sound amazing. I don't think I accomplished it uh, perfectly on Metal Murder 3D, and I just like drove myself nuts doing studio classes and everything. I went to like school for it for a little bit, sound engineering classes. I did a course with the guys from Metalocalypse, a short class with them, and from there, yeah, I got my tools. And I think it was around when I did the new Caveman album when I started to really figure out what I was doing, with mixing and everything and making music sound perfect, especially with the vocals. But it wasn't until 4K that I really think I nailed it. Like, I think I finally found my mojo, you know, I got it working, you know, like everything, like the vocals, the mixing, the mastering, everything. I've got these plugged in at like full blast when I'm mixing, so it sounds amazing, bright, fucking loud. So I ain't blowing any more sound systems. Yeah.
Oh man, everyone's their own worst critic. I think. I think you've been a little bit harsh on yourself, but yes, those other albums fantastic. But this one to me, it's right up there. Like there's something special about the first time that you hear an album. I was there just waiting for it to drop on Spotify. That's how I listen to my music these days, and it was that frustrating little wait, but well and truly worth it, man. But that leads me to my next question, I guess, is how did you go about picking your collabs and whatnot on this one? It was cool. Like you got Buckshot on there, you got Scum on there, you got little Michael Myers himself. Did these guys come to you? Did you sort of chase them out, or how did they come about?
Originally, I kept saying this loud. I didn't want anybody on MM4K. Originally, like I just kind of briefly said before, it was called something else. Metal 4K was originally called Aftershocks, and I feel like
I
that's a
was
better.
gonna ask what it was called, but I thought maybe he's saving it for something else. But there you
Yeah,
go.
no,
Aftershocks, cool.
yeah, I've actually announced it because it's going to be the new bonus disc, which comes after this. So it's already kind of in production. So it is announced on it, kind of announced. Yeah, Aftershocks is what MM4K originally was called, and I think it kind of fits better. Even now, I still kind of kick myself for changing it because it relates, to like post traumatic stress disorder and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
MM4K is a lot about just emotional shit, just that you suffering after a major earthquake in your life and whatever it may be. But
yeah.
now it serves as, aftershocks of the earthquake, which was MM4K, and fans made me change it. When's there going to be a 4K? Is there going to be a fourth one? Oh, they didn't say 4K. They said, when's going to be 4? I'm like, Metal Murder 4 sounds shit. The title sounds shit. It sounded even a trilogy, 3D. But my friend, I get him in props, he's like, what if you call it 4K? And I was like, damn it, I got to do it now. It's done. We literally retitled that. Oh, yeah. So that then, like, once it was retitled to 4K, I started to think it has to resemble, a Metal Murder mixtape, and all of those got collabs everywhere. So originally I said, Aftershocks was all going to be all me, but then I'm like, well, now I have to put people on it. So, I think first person I went to is Trips because we were talking a lot. I was sending him a lot of these songs before they were released, getting hit. Like we always like go back and forth. Like I've been down with Trips in 2006, recording Tormented Mutation. I met him at a studio I rented, so like he was there and we just clicked straight away, and we're always helping each other out. And especially when it comes to mixing and stuff, we're always like in each other's heads trying to figure shit out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm like, man, you gotta come back for this track. And it felt good getting him out of retirement for that. I think I sparked some motivation in him to do some more. And
Oh,
uh,
really? That's good.
yeah, we also talked about doing an EP together like years ago, and that came back up in conversation. So that's a possibility.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, and then I just fished out who would be available. I contacted some big names and some middle names and some people who reached out to me, and um, I was low on time. I think it was this February or January. I started fishing for collabs. So yeah, it was really who was available free. I can't really drop who was meant to be on it, who couldn't make it because we're still eventually going to do something. So those bigger things could happen. So I ain't all about I didn't get anyone huge on this album. Like it doesn't matter. These are my friends that are on my album. People that I click with, and whoever was available as well. So yeah, Scum, Buckshot, good friends with them, and Great Day, fucking Halloween, Michael Myers. Yeah,
Cool,
man,
man.
yeah.
Did you reach out to him, or what happened there with Great Day? That's a crazy collab.
I didn't know he was a rapper actually. I was working with another guy and he had him on the song. He's like, "Oh, Halloween Kid's a rapper and he's on this song." I was like, "Really? Shit!" And like, I love the Halloween, those Rob Zombie Halloweens, and I knew it was straight away. Like he's in Hancock, the little kid in Hancock. Will Smith throws to the fucking sky. I knew exactly who it was from. I'm like, hell yeah, I've watched heaps of his shit. And he's in Euphoria recently too. Anyway, I followed him and he followed me and we just started talking. And yeah, then I just pitched him a song. I'm like, actually, I'm looking for collabs. You want to do another one? He's like, hell yeah. And yeah. So we just kind of clicked, and he's a fan of mine. And he's got shirts of mine. I'm like, wow, Michael Myers. Yeah.
That's awesome right there, man. And we were talking about it before. You got a video coming out for it as well. Can you tell us more
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, well, we just done a collab video online. We got it all puzzled together. I kind of shot something yesterday, so yeah, hopefully I can make it work. It's kind of pressure, but yeah, we shot a video.
I'm
You
excited
see,
to see
yeah.
see how that one sort of goes together, and that's the follow up to Happy. Yeah, this was done by Strongman Pictures. You've worked with them for a while now. Those guys.
Those guys, like, seriously, they're a staple. They're a big fucking part of like me progressing in my career because I've been limited to touring, as you know,
Mm,
but the internet has been my freaking my master master. What I even got the word for it. My major push. Music videos, definitely. I think it's very important, especially back in my day. MySpace, another one, big one. So I was pushing MySpace and music videos and working with Strongman Pictures, they always made me shine. Like we look like fucking
oh,
like especially in the underground back then. Not many underground people on my level were doing those HD videos. I always even felt like unworthy of getting those as well. I was so fucking lucky to come across them and them to be fans of mine. And for them to put that amount of work into me, is amazing. Like I can't thank them enough. And for still working with me, it's crazy.
yeah, it's awesome right there. Because you've haven't you done like movie scores and stuff for them as well, or am I like where can people sort of check out more KC slash Strongman Pictures sort of crossovers? I guess.
Yeah, they released 2. I think I did work on 3 of their movies now. I think one of them I'm in very briefly as a cameo in Sheborg Massacre. I was shooting the Back to the Kidcrusher video, and they were filming that at the same time. So flew there, did that, and then the next day I went and dressed up as a fucking alien and,
Yeah.
and did that. But yeah, I went. The first one I scored was 2015 from Parts Unknown, Fight Like a Girl. Never scored a movie before in my life. He's like, "You want to do it?" I'm like, "I'll figure it out."
Yeah.
I fucking figure it out. I did it.
Oh, that is awesome right there, man. So there you go. Great collabs right there. And man, Metal Murder 4K, we're talking about it. How's Forecast, the ICP cover? I just think you did that just so well. What made you choose this song?
Oh man, I love Hell's Pit. I do, but
Same.
that's the best Hell's Pit song that's not on Hell's Pit. It's on Shangri-La. Like I fucking love Shangri-La too, but that
Yeah.
is like that when I first heard Shangri-La and I knew that Hell's Pit was coming, I just gravitated to Hell's Forecast. I'm like, that is what Hell's Pit's gonna be. I can't fucking wait. And like to
Yeah.
be honest, when I heard Hell's Pit, it's still great, Hell's Pit. But Hell's Forecast is still like the best Hell's Pit. Even I got to give it to like other songs that didn't make it on the Hell's Pit. Forgotten Freshness. They did the Bodies Flying to the Sky. That's Hell's Pit for sure. And there's another one on there as well. I can't remember what it was, but like right before Hell's Pit came out, the website icp.com had the instrumentals playing. I'm like, I know that beat, and then like it didn't make it on the Hell's Pit, and then I heard it on Forgotten Freshness. That was meant to be on Hell's Pit, motherfucker. Why did they take it off? But no, Hell's Forgot, love it. I used to do it at karaoke way back before I started rapping. Love it. And I had to play homage to it in a way because I did Suicide Hotline on Metal Metal One. I think I did an ICP song in two. I can't remember. I don't know why.
You can't remember. I
I
love it
can't
right there.
remember.
Do you ever hear back if these guys have heard the covers or anything like that? Because I'd love to hear their opinions on it.
Not ICP, but a few other people. I'll come to that in a sec. But like, I feel bad for the Suicide Hotline cover. At the time I put it out, I was fucking miserable, like I was when I released that album, and I missed a key part, special part to that song. Like in the original, he's about to kill himself, and then someone calls and talks him out of it. In mine, he just that's it, and I feel fucking shit that I did that. Like I didn't. I was younger then. I didn't really think about my listeners and people who might be hearing it. Like I try my best to encourage people to better things. So yeah, I would assume if Von J heard it, I'm not going to send it to him. He'd probably be pissed off too. So like I feel guilty for not having a positive message at the end of that. And the more I mature and get old, I think more about that shit, especially like the how morbid my music used to be, like, and I hear fans hit me up, your music makes me feel better. And I feel fucking weird. I'm like, but my shit tells you to cut someone's head off. I get it at the same time. I'm like, it's like punching bags instead of fucking going and doing that shit, and I feel responsible for some things half the time, and I don't want to be, too overboard as I used to be. That's why 4K is out of the box. It's still hardcore in there, bits and pieces, sprinkles of it. But yeah. Anyway, that's a way off topic. There's just other people have reached out to me, man. Some people have uh, on 3D. I did this cover of Psychotic Symphony Manic Depresso. It's actually this band from the 80s, and they're in this horror movie, and like the music video goes in the movie, and I put it out, and then like not even a week later they reached out, and I didn't even reach out to them. I was like, wow, I really should reach out to these
That's
people to get permission. But like the fact that he's like, yeah, I love it, I was like, wow. Yeah, no, but some of my cover songs I love to do are like they're non-existent. I'm a movie fan, so I look for fictional bands that are in movies. um one that I one of my cover songs I love the most is from Dead Man on Campus, a movie not many people, only one person's hit me up just recently about, oh, that song Sperm on a Metal Matter 2, I think it's on. It's like, yeah, I love Dead Man on Campus, and I'm like, you're the only person in 10 fucking years that said Dead Man on Campus, and I love you for it. It's like, yeah, because it's a fictional band. The band doesn't exist. They just made it for the movie, and the song on it, I loved it, and I was like, same with the Zydrate Anatomy from Repo, the Genetic Opera. That's a big hit on my Spotify. That's well, I don't call it a fictional band, but it is made for that movie, Repo. And yeah, so those are the cover songs I love to fuck with.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to check that out too, because I'm not gonna, pretend that I know that movie. So I'm gonna have to go and check that out, man. But well, we are on the topic of movies now, I guess, and I did have a whole section here to talk about movies with you to sort of wrap things up here, Casey. The Blockbuster Bloke. How big is this VHS collection, man?
Oh no, it's just like my pop collection I showed you before. It hits the roof. So now, like I'm on Marketplace or something, a videotape comes out and like, it's like that meme of like Indiana Jones when he's about to grab that thing, and then there's a big boulder coming behind, he's like running with it. I'm like, that's how I feel with my videotapes. I'm like, I can't fucking fit anymore in here. But I think I've got close on a couple hundred
Wow.
videotapes. And the crazy thing is I don't watch these. I don't. I love my 4K copies, my Blu-rays, digital copies, but just like in another 10 years from now, you're never probably going to see like a videotape again, because they're most likely all hit up in landfills unless the collectors got them. So like I miss that video store feeling. Like I grew up in it. It's the most magical thing. Like I grew up right across the road from a video store. It's my favorite place to go every weekend. And so that's like the atmosphere I like to come in. I got the cutouts, and the videotapes, the posters, just that feeling, man, of being a kid and going renting a movie. So like most of the videotapes I collect, the ones that I did rent, not just ones that, oh, I like that movie, but the ones I did rent, that memory triggers to me. It's such a special memory for me. Especially hitting the cinema too. Like, go to the cinema, people. If we lose the fucking cinema to Netflix, I'm gonna fucking lose it at all of you. Because you're like, gonna go to the cinema. Nah, stay and watch Netflix. Don't do it. It's a trap. We're already losing the drive-ins in Australia. I think there's like 5 left in total. I'm fucking sour about that. I can't go to the drive-ins anymore. So yes, you can see I'm very defensive about the way movies should be preserved.
100% agree with you, man. If we lose the cinema, man, I am going to be peeved. Like, I just went and saw the new Boogeyman movie yesterday in our cinema here.
Yeah,
Fantastic. And there's just nothing like it, KC, going to the cinema. I can't agree with you
no.
more. And I do remember just a little while back, weren't you trying to get a movie played at your local cinema, like an old one? Was it like Super Mario Brothers or something like that?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
did that? Did you have any luck with that?
It's done. I actually demanded that shit. I kept hounding them. They're like, yeah, I love the original Mario. It's one of the first movies I've seen in the cinema. And like the new Mario coming out, I'm like, because they had been playing originals, like they played the Lost Boys not long ago, and I'm like, hey, like be a good way to promote the new one coming out, play the original. And they actually said, I like your thinking. And then they said, yeah, June, July, they're gonna play it. So I made something happen.
Oh, so it's gonna happen. Yes, that is awesome right there, man. I love it. So your VHS collection, what's your most prized possession when it comes to VHS?
Like I'm gonna give it to the ones that took me a long time to get, but there's a couple that like a bit bigger. I'll grab them out.
Oh, even better right there. Casey's having a
Yeah.
great one. Here we go.
Now everyone's going to expect me bringing out horrors and stuff. I will bring one out, but this one's my prize because when I started collecting, it took me about 2 years to find a copy. Now I got two.
Airborne.
This is like a roller skate movie. It's got Jack
Yeah.
Black, Seth Green in it, and it's a fucking underrated rollerblading movie. I love it. This fucking shit. I got it on laser disc as well. Did you know what a laser disc is?
Yeah.
I was like, oh really? Okay, I'll get that one.
Oh, Tremors! Look out!
Yeah. I started collecting these as well. So this was just before DVD. It didn't really take off, but yeah, a bunch of movies went out on laser, so I started grabbing those as well. Help.
Is there much money in the laserdisc collecting, KC? Like, would they be worth anything? Like,
Yeah, some more than others. See, like the horror videotapes and horror laserdiscs, they're freaking sought after the most. You know, lucky me, I was a horror fan when I was little, but I wasn't, you know, too. I was a little bitch when I was a kid, a little fucking bitch. Which brings me to my next one. Right, hopefully I don't fucking drop everything. I'm gonna take those out.
this is killing you.
All right, I got a couple copies of this one. This one scared me as a kid. You know, I'm always talking about it. The Gate.
Oh yes, and you collab with the guy from The Gate, yeah?
Yeah, Lowest Trip. This movie, this is a big. I got 3 copies of this one because this one's in like a clamshell. I don't know if you know what those are. A bit bigger cases, and there's the hard cases. This one's like a sample copy. Like they used to, if you worked at a video store, you know, we'd get those in advance before the movie came out. So I got, I'm fucking crazy. This is the sequel. Not very underrated. This one I got Lois to sign, so his signature's on there. So that one's very sentimental to me. And this one's so underrated. No one really likes it. And when I talked to Lois about it too, he said no, he's really surprised because I said that one was my favorite out of the two. Because it's just funny. It's fun. It's crazy.
I need to check him out, man. And I just love the passion that you've got behind the VHS and the movies, the music, man. Like I said, cut from the same cloth. Said it a couple of times right now, man. Absolutely love it, man. It is crazy meeting your heroes. How was it meeting that guy?
Oh, surreal, man. I had to bug the shit out of him. Anyway, I forgot to mention that I actually worked at Blockbuster. That's another reason I'm so fucking crazy.
Oh, I didn't know that right there. So you're an original Blockbuster bloke.
Like, yeah, that's what the title is. You know, I was that Blockbuster bloke, the guy that worked at Blockbuster. And I honestly probably would have still been working there if it was still there. You know, like I knew everything. I was the guy that was there, right? That like there was 3 or 4 other people working, and my boss would be at the counter with the customer, and the customer would be like, "No, sounds insane." The customer would be like, "Oh, can you recommend a movie? What's this movie like?" He wouldn't turn any other 3 people who are going to be like, "Yo, talk to that guy," or where's that video? Where that video is precise? Can you go find this? I know exactly where that fucking tape was. You know,
It's awesome, there, man.
There's a long freaking story about my, adventure getting employed there and everything, which is even more insane, but I'll save that for another time. I'm sorry. Yeah. Sidetracking, that's me talking crazy. Meeting Lois Tripp, another me being psycho crazy. I heard that he's a Canadian. He moved to Australia. I found out through Googling, like, because I was watching The Gate again countless times, how many times I watched it. And I was like, what's he doing now? Like, what movies is he doing? And like, I looked, he like basically stopped making movies. And then there was this article saying, where the hell is Lois Tripp? And it said he moved to Australia and he makes music. I'm like, do you? I'm going to find you. Like I did. I found him. And I hit him up at collab, and he didn't want to for the longest time, but I was persistent, man. Just fucking every couple of months, I'd hit him up, just like, "Hey, me again. How you doing?" He's from Melbourne, and I did a gig there, and I'm like, "Hey, I'll give you some free tickets to come check out my show." And he fucking showed up. I didn't expect him to, and I did a Gate skit, like a skit from the movie, on stage. So like, it was even more crazy. I'm like replicating the skit that he does in the first Gate movie. And yeah, he was blown away and privileged. He's like, "Yeah, fucking let's do something." He loved all my performance and everything. He's like, "You're very unique." And like, just that review just knew that he was, telling the truth, and he's really blown away. And like, I did it. It took like about 3 years of convincing, but I got him. And surreal, still fucking surreal. You know that I even got it for a music video as well. You know, like it's
Yeah.
insane. You know, I grew up watching these people, even like working with the clowns and everything like that. It's like I've been watching and listening to these people since I was like 10. You know, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's going back to what we were talking about right at the start of this interview. You can achieve anything if you put your mind to it. There you are. You've toured
Really,
with the biggest, man, like Insane Clown Posse. You did it our tour with Blaze and Boondocks, which was awesome. Who else? You had Tech Nine, Head PE, Mushroom Head back in the day. I remember you toured
yeah.
with. It's just been an absolutely amazing career, KC.
Uh,
Murder Mixtape 4K. It's out now. My last question for you, man. What's your next move?
Oh, actually, I did plan on taking some time off recording. I was like, you know, it's such a long fucking day. I was like, oh, I'll take a break. Actually, I'm looking at doing some shows, you know, like having talks with people about, you know, putting this album out, work, and get out there. And I'm doing Brisbane in September for a festival called Hell Vegan Fest, which is gonna be cool. Hopefully getting around everywhere else. Just we're in talks. I haven't really got anything set in stone, but yeah, Rectal Birth. The label wants me to do more, so Rectal Birth is coming again. I do want to keep Caveman kicking, so hopefully, you know, we get some more shows. We've been doing a lot of local shows with Caveman, but you know that was just after 2020, so we were really cautious and kind of stayed local. But yeah, now I'm looking at, you know, putting this out there. So Caveman's good. Rectal Birth, definitely do so. Maybe just probably another song. I don't see an album coming for Rectal Birth, but probably just some singles. Yeah, for sure. That's
That's crazy. You just don't stop. And I remember earlier this year, I tried to pull you out of retirement for wrestling, but you said you were done and dusted on the pro wrestling side of things.
and I wish, like, you know, nothing was better than, you know, getting up on a Saturday morning and like going to the bottle, grabbing like stacks of alcohol, filling up like the fridge, lining all the weapons up across the fence, and just waiting for everyone to come to kick their ass. No, I
Uh,
can't do it.
yeah, thank you so much for taking time out, KC. Really appreciate it. Be sure to hit this man up. Linktree/Kidcrusher has everything you need to know there. And be sure to check out that new album, Metal Murder Mixtape 4K. It's freaking awesome right there, man. Thank you, KC.
No, thank you. Appreciate you.